Monica Jackson, a retired Navy SEAL, a lieutenant commander, never imagined that a simple traffic stop would spiral into a relentless fight for justice. After serving her country for over 2 decades, she had faced some of the most dangerous situations across the world. From high-stakes missions to life-or-death decisions, she had seen it all. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for the level of corruption she was about to uncover within her own country's justice system. It all began on an ordinary evening. Monica pulled into a dimly lit gas station, briefly checking directions on her phone. The night was quiet, almost eerily so. That's when Officer Simmons spotted her. A seasoned cop with a long record of excessive force complaints, he decided, without reason, that Monica looked suspicious. His eyes narrowed as he reached for his flashlight, its beam slicing through the darkness, landing squarely on her face. The way he approached, chest puffed out, posture rigid, made his intentions clear. He wasn't here to ensure safety. He was here to exert power. "Step out of the vehicle," he barked, his voice laced with authority and an expectation of immediate obedience. Monica, calm but resolute, met his gaze. "Is there a problem, officer?" Her tone was firm, not confrontational, but certainly not submissive. Simmons' expression darkened. "Don't question me," I said, out. "Now." Monica, well-trained in de-escalation, knew better than to argue. With measured movements, she complied, reaching for her license and registration. But Simmons wasn't looking for compliance. He wanted submission. The moment she hesitated, just briefly, to answer one of his rapid-fire questions, everything changed. Without warning, he shoved her against the cold steel of his patrol car. "You're resisting arrest," he growled. The accusation sent a jolt through her system. Resisting? She had done no such thing. "You're assaulting an officer," Simmons sneered, his grip tightening. Monica didn't resist. She knew how these situations played out. By the time she was booked, Simmons had twisted the narrative entirely, filing a report that painted her as the aggressor. He even claimed she had reached for his weapon, a lie that, historically, had been enough to convict countless innocent people. It was his word against hers. And in cases like this, the officer's word almost always won. But this time, Simmons had made a crucial mistake. The trial moved swiftly. In the grand courthouse, Monica sat at the defense table, hands folded, dark eyes never leaving Simmons as he strutted into the witness stand with overconfidence. Despite her composed exterior, she knew this battle wasn't just about her freedom. It was about exposing an entire system designed to protect officers like Simmons, no matter the cost. "She was aggressive," Simmons declared, his voice steady, rehearsed. "When I tried to de-escalate the situation, she reached for my weapon." A ripple of murmurs spread through the courtroom. Monica's young attorney, Benjamin Carter, leaned closer, his voice hushed but urgent. "We need more. His word against yours isn't enough." Monica gave a small, knowing smile. "Patience, Ben. The truth has its own timing." When it was her turn to testify, she stood with the same unwavering presence that had carried her through war zones and high-risk missions. "I was simply checking directions on my phone when Officer Simmons approached," she began, her voice steady. "He didn't ask for identification. He demanded it. The moment I questioned why, he escalated. The prosecutor saw his opening and pounced." "So you admit to questioning his authority?" Monica didn't flinch. "I questioned his motives. There's a difference, one that goes to the very heart of this case." Then the bombshell. Benjamin pulled out his phone, pressing play on a video recorded by a bystander. The courtroom fell into stunned silence as Officer Simmons' voice filled the room. "Women like you need to learn how to listen." Gasps erupted. The judge banged his gavel, calling for order, but the damage was done. The case against Monica? Crumbling. During a recess, Benjamin approached Monica, his hands gripping a folder. "We've got it," he whispered. Simmons' personnel file. Multiple complaints of excessive force, specifically targeting minorities, especially women. They tried to bury it, but we found it. Monica exhaled slowly. "This was never just about me, Ben. It's about everyone who never got the chance to fight back. Now, We make sure they do. Back in court, the evidence was laid bare. The once arrogant Simmons started to fall apart. His fellow officers in the gallery shifted uncomfortably, their previous support visibly fading. And then the final blow. Monica rose to her feet and declared, "I am Lieutenant Commander Monica Jackson, retired Navy SEAL." The courtroom froze. For a moment, silence reigned. Then the jury members leaned forward, their perception of her shifting instantly. "For 20 years, I fought for justice and equality," Monica continued. "I faced enemies overseas, navigated hostile war zones, led teams through unimaginable conditions. But never, never did I expect to come home and face such blatant abuse of power on the very streets I swore to protect." Simmons turned pale. The jury deliberated for less than an hour. The verdict? Not guilty. But Monica's victory was much larger than just her acquittal. The jury recommended a full investigation into Simmons' conduct. The judge, visibly disturbed, ordered an immediate review of his past cases. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed her. But Monica stood tall, her military posture unshaken. "This was never about revenge," she told them. "It's about reform. We give law enforcement power, but with power must come accountability. Today, we took a step in the right direction." Her story spread like wildfire. Police departments across the country began reviewing their training protocols. Internal investigations were launched. Simmons? Dismissed. Later, he faced criminal charges. But Monica's real victory was in the conversations her case ignited. She took the stand, not just in court, but on public platforms, speaking out for ethical policing, advocating for unbiased enforcement. Her perspective? Unique, powerful, unshakable. Months later, as she stood on the courthouse steps watching the sunset, her phone buzzed. Another precinct, requesting her to speak on reform. She smiled. Her Navy SEAL training had prepared her for battle. But this fight, it was won not with brute strength, but with an unwavering commitment to truth and justice. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to IOP Stories. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers together and keep sharing stories that inspire change and celebrate resilience. Thank you for watching. See you in the next chapter of empowerment.